Hello and welcome to How Mundane, the least interesting place on the internet. Today we've got two Clayburst boxes from Japan to rip. I think anybody who's familiar with this set would know that the chase card we are all looking for is that alternate art Iono number 96, but there's also a good Tyranitar and a Raichu, Tinkaton. But let's start opening some packs and see how we do. Here we go. Nothing particularly spectacular in that first one. Obviously, the big dollars are almost all alternate arts, with the exception of Raichu, I think, in Clayburst. Kind of understand why some people take a whole stack of these, pull them all out, and go through the whole stack all at once. Because the 5-card packs... Oh, is that the Raichu? Yes, the Raichu number 18 is one... That's one of the better ones. I mean, it's only worth, what, a couple of bucks ungraded? But if it grades out, I want to say... $35, $40 for 10 on that particular Raichu. Yeah, 5-card packs, you don't get a whole lot of flipping in between every unwrapping. Ooh, I see something sparkly under here. That's not bad. It's a cool card too. It's just a very cool looking next pack. You know, if somebody knows why the Japanese packs are 5 cards and the American packs are 10 cards, please post in the comments, because that is something I have always wondered about. But every time I think about it, I am not in front of a computer and, thinking to look it up. And then I never have bothered to do that. So I'm sure there is probably a reason why Japanese packs are 5 cards and American packs are, the 10 card-ish range. Something a little sparkly back there. And yeah, the Korean packs are 5 cards too for a lot of these. Well, that's a good art. I don't know that one is particularly high value from this set. The Noivern. I will admit I am not the most well-versed in every single Pokemon. I am one of those folks who was probably a little too old. Oh, here we go. That's a good full art. When the whole Pokemon craze started. And so I never quite got into it. I mean, I've watched at least some of the anime, and have played quite a bit of Pokemon Go, but the old core games, Pokemon Red and Blue came out, there we go, while I was already in high school. And so I tried to get into it at one point, back in the red and blue era and just really didn't quite keep my attention the way some of the other stuff at that time frame did. Tried again at one point when I was in law school, just looking for something to do to take my mind off studying, and again, could not quite get into it. Tried again when my kids started getting into it, and one of them is particularly well versed in Pokemon, and I just I don't know, the actual core Pokemon games have just never quite hit right with me for whatever reason that is. Still like the franchise, still like the look of the characters, like the cards, like Pokemon Go. That's something that's a great time killer when out and about. But yeah, I've never played all the way through any core Pokemon release. Oh, well, it's full art. It's really close to there's a Tyranitar in the set, but I think it's card number 79, and that one was 78. Yep. So I got these boxes at the urging of one of my children, who says that Iono is his favorite trainer and is really hoping we pull maybe both of the Iono alternate arts, or at least one of them, from this particular batch. So far, no luck on that front. Oh, there's another Raichu. I'll have to get out a centering tool and see if either of those looks like it's on point enough to potentially think about grading. It's always the tough thing with grading is if you just throw cards at Beckett or PSA or here's an Iono, but it's not the Iono. At least I think that's an Iono. Yeah, you want to make sure you're sending in stuff that at least has a pretty good shot at grading up. Because I will tell you, the first thing I ever sent in to get graded were some... Oh, that's a cool alt art. Were cards I did not look nearly closely enough at. Ended up really kind of throwing some money away on grades that were ultimately not worth it. So I would caution anybody who's thinking about having cards graded to really do your research, not only on the cards, but on what actually is this the... Well, this Tyranitar is not bad. It's a similar value to that Raichu. Yeah, do your research not only on what cards are worth grading, but what the graders actually look at when they're grading cards, so that you're not sending in something that's not possibly going to grade, a 9 or a 10. Because other than really old cards, where maybe there may not be anything higher than a 7 or an 8 in circulation, for anything modern, 9s and 10s are kind of the only thing you want. unless you're really trying to authenticate something that's really unusual that maybe people might have doubts is legitimate. And in that case, the authentication as part of the grading can be worth it. Oh, something shiny in this one. Another alt art. It's we are almost through with box 1 here. Just a couple of packs left to go. Oh, I'm seeing something shiny again. Well, that's I don't know what that one is worth, but I like the art. It's card number 16 if you can't quite make it out on the camera. It's always a little hard to tell how well some of that stuff comes through. Last 2 packs for box 1. Last pack. And there is nothing shiny in that one. All right, let's see if box 2 brings us some more luck on the Iono front. Something shiny in the back of this one, but it's nothing particularly remarkable. Next pack up. You know, the next time I find myself in Japan, I may have to pick up some good sealed product to come back and rip on the channel. You know, I like the art on that card. It's a fascinating country if you've never had the pleasure of being able to visit Japan. And I would recommend anyone who has any level of interest in travel or Japanese culture, Japanese food, take the time to make the trip. It is, I know, intimidating with the language barrier. But honestly, travel. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Another one of that same alternate art. Traveling now, particularly to Japan, and particularly if you're tending to stay in the more populated cities with current smartphone technology, is far easier than you might expect it to be. You know, there was a time, I mean, even just 20-ish years ago, which is the first time I went to Japan, that navigating, oh, what do we got? Oh, that's a cool card. And I believe that one is worth at least $5 ungraded. It was a lot harder then. I mean, you didn't have maps on your phone. You didn't have any real-time translation. You know, it was still doable, and I did it. But I will tell you the difference in traveling now that you can have a smartphone in your pocket. So what do we got here? That not only has maps but the ability to translate, I mean, we're at near real time, I would say. It's astounding just how far the technology has come and what a difference that makes. Still no Iono for traveling in a country like Japan. Not to mention, it just generally is easy to get around. The train system is absolutely fantastic. But I will tell you, the last trip I took, an example of technology making a difference. I was waiting for a cab with a woman who was probably in her 70s or 80s and who did not speak any English. But she and I had a full conversation using translation apps and going back and forth. And, you know, it was fascinating to hear from her about the time she had gone to New York back in the, I believe it was the 80s. How much she enjoyed it. But it was also great to be able to tell her about all the things we were enjoying about Japan, and just have a lovely conversation that, you know, just a few years ago, the language barrier alone would have entirely prevented. Here's another Raichu. And technology just made all the difference. If you are going to Japan, obviously do your research, figure out where you want to go. But plenty of great English language content, if that's what you're looking for, by folks who are living in Japan. Oh, I see something sparkly. Man, we were just getting all the repeats today. You know, Chris Broad or Broad in Japan comes to mind. Connor, Sea Dog VA comes to mind. Charla, Charmander, of course, comes to mind. And certainly lots of, you know, niche content if there are particular parts of the culture that you're into that may be able to point you in the direction of things you would want to experience. But well, that's another cool looking one. I am not familiar with the value of that one off the top of my head. So take the time to do your research, but you know, at least as of the time of recording, the exchange rate for the yen is really down. And so if there is a time to potentially think about visiting, now would be it. Because it's like putting everything on a discount. The other thing I will say is a lot of people talk about being concerned about how expensive it will be. Obviously, you can make travel most places more or less kind of as expensive or inexpensive as you're looking to make them. I will say there are some places you can go that there's just expensive and there's not a whole lot of way to get around it because that is just the nature of that destination, but Japan is not one of those. You can go to Japan and you can have a lovely time eating at small, inexpensive local restaurants, or you can go to Japan and have a 5-star experience spending an absolute fortune on food and lodging and everything else. So if budget is one of your concerns, you know, I wouldn't be overly concerned because some of the, you know, $5-10 meals I've had in Japan have been absolutely phenomenal. Whether that's curry rice or ramen or sushi. I mean, you can get a reasonably priced sushi meal in what would kind of be the equivalent of a mall here in the United States for $20-30, and it'd be some of the best sushi you've ever had. So, you know, again, it's all about what you make of it. Something. Oh, that is also a very cool card that I do not know the value of off the top of my head. But card number 72. The question is, will we find an Iono here in these last, what do we got, like 5 packs left? Yeah. Nope. 5 packs, so 25 cards left. Will one of them be the big hit? Or will 2 boxes be an Iono bust? Yeah. Nothing shiny in that pack. Just 3 left. Oh, something shiny back there. It's one of the Tyrannitars. Two chances left. Just to write you. So will this last pack come through for us? Nope. So it was a bust. No Iono. But we did get some good full art, alt arts. So, not a complete loss. Well, hey, thanks for being mundane with us today, and we hope we'll see you back here again sometime soon. Bye.